Hello and welcome to the Kanawha Valley Hustlers. This is Joe Justice, and I want to talk to you a little bit today about asking people for things. It's interesting, as I've talked to a lot, especially a lot of entrepreneurs, small business owners, especially entrepreneurs, they seem to be almost embarrassed to ask for things. Let me give you an example of what I'm talking about. Google reviews. A lot of people that I talk to, I ask them, are you asking your clients for Google reviews? And they almost act insulted, like, I would never do that. Oh, I'm never going to ask my clients for reviews, as if like that's some kind of beneath them, or they shouldn't have to do that. That seems to be the attitude that I see a lot, which is like, I did a fantastic job. They should want to give me a Google review. And if they don't want to give me a Google review, then they're just jerks anyways. And that's kind of the attitude. It's very similar to if you have like a customer appreciation type event, or if you do a marketing event where you want to do like a lunch and learn or invite a bunch of people. And, I run into it all the time where people will say that, they call somebody to invite them and the person says, oh, they can't come, they're busy. And they get really insulted by that. And the thing that I always find extraordinary is the fact that like people in those situations, they think people are just sitting by their phone doing nothing and are just waiting for somebody to call and to invite them to something. People have lives. It's the same thing as, if you call somebody for a meeting and forget to do follow-ups on them, or they say that they're going to meet with you at the end of the week and they never call you back and things like that. People have lives. People, everybody's overwhelmed all the time. They have bad days. They have difficulties and challenges. And, you're not the most important thing in their life. I know that's a bit of an ego blow, but you have to ask them to do things. And you also have to be open and be okay with them saying no. So the best way to get people to do things that you want, like things like Google reviews, things like testimonials, things like that, is to ask everybody and then divorce yourself from the outcome. So you ask, hey, could you give me a Google review? And if they don't, that's okay. If you can master that kind of skill of being able to ask for something, but then divorce yourself from the outcome, you'll be massively successful. Because what happens is there's this emotional weight that gets put on you if every time somebody says no to you, if you take that as a personal insult, then that's exactly what you stop asking people for things. And that's exactly what I think I run into a lot when I talk to people about this. And when we talk about this whole situation of like asking Google reviews, which I come back to as an example, because that is the type of thing that I see a lot. People they just expect, well, I did a good job, they should give me a review. Or I did a good job, they should tell their friends. And that's just not the way people operate. So what happens is that at some point in the past, maybe they've asked and the person said that they would give a Google review, but they never did. They never followed up with them. And so they took it as a personal insult. They're very upset about it. Now they're upset about it. They consider it an insult. Now I'm not going to ask anybody else because the last person I asked didn't come through for me. So you run into this kind of situation. Similarly with if you ask somebody to buy something, if you ask somebody to do the next step, the call to action on things. Now, with all that said, yes, there are times that you can ask too much. You should ask for microscopic steps on things. You should ask for low-level agreements. So if I wouldn't necessarily ask if I met somebody, let's say I did a good job for somebody, I wouldn't say, hey, can you introduce me to 100 of your best friends? That's too much. Like that's now you're asking them to become like your workforce. You're asking them to become like your employee when you're asking them, oh, introduce me to 100 people. Now that's not the same thing as will you give me a Google review. So you should also be proud of what you do and proud of the results that you have. And the best way to do that whenever you're talking to somebody and to, if you're looking for a referral, for example, talk to somebody and say, hey, I did a good job with you with whatever it is you sell, roofing or plumbing or electrical work or whatever it is. Hey, did I do a good job? Yeah, I love it. So let me ask you this question. Is there anybody else that you know that has a similar problem? Oh yeah, my nephew, he has this exact same problem. Would you mind introducing me to your nephew so that I can solve this problem? That's a great way to get referrals. Ask if you know anybody else that has the same problem. Same thing with Google reviews, same thing with showing up at events, same thing with all these things. Hey, would you be interested in this? If not, no problem. Make them feel comfortable, make them feel relaxed so that the next time that you come back and ask something else, then they'll be excited to possibly participate. Maybe they can't do it this time, but maybe they can do it next time. So be proud of what you do. Don't be ashamed or afraid to ask people to do things for you. Don't be afraid to ask for reviews. Don't be afraid to ask for referrals. Don't be afraid to ask for testimonials. The worst they could say is no. And if you divorce yourself from those outcomes, and a no is just a no. It's not the end of the world. It doesn't mean that you're arch enemies now. It doesn't mean that you have to fight if you see each other on the street. Just divorce yourself from those outcomes and focus on asking more people to do things for you. You can have some really, really great success. So I hope that you found this helpful today, and I hope that you get a chance to go out there and ask people things. I'm going to ask you to be sure to like and comment. Drop me a comment and let me know what you think of this episode, and I hope that you have a wonderful rest of your week. This is Joe Justice, the Kanawha Valley Hustler, reminding you to hustle hard, hustle smart, and hustle with a smile.